What's better than hypnosis? When I first found hypnosis, I was amazed. I told my friend he couldn't open his eyes in his first trance, and he couldn't. What did that mean? That meant that I could mold the very nature of his reality in that moment, with his consent, of course. Since then, I've hypnotized hundreds of people, and hundreds of thousands if you count my YouTube videos. People have had experiences that they didn't believe were possible before we started. I want you to think about the power of that statement. Something became possible that wasn't before, like orgasming on command, without even being touched. People can experience bondage without being tied up, spanking without being spanked. People can use hypnosis to overcome psychological traumas. Their very reality can be shifted. If you've watched Darren Brown or other stage hypnotists, they can do things that seem to violate the very laws of nature. For example, in one show, a guy gets into an ice cold tub of water without even feeling the cold, thinks he's in a warm bath, until Darren releases the suggestion. People can hold a tarantula even if they've had terrible arachnophobia their entire lives. It's one of the closest things to a miracle that I've ever seen. In fact, trance is so powerful that people can have operations and dental work done with no anesthesia, simply with hypnotic suggestions that there'll be no pain and that the healing will happen quickly and effectively. And we've all heard about the power of the placebo effect. People can heal themselves just by believing that they'll be healed with no medicine involved. This is so powerful that doctors have learned to correct against the placebo effect in medical trials, even though I wonder, why correct against it? If we can heal ourselves with the power of our minds with no dangerous side effects, why don't we magnify that power? Hypnosis and trance are truly spectacularly powerful, but it has its limits. Not everyone has the necessary prerequisites to immediately have astounding experiences and results with hypnosis. Some people have difficulty going into trance. Some people have challenges with responding to suggestions. Sadly, I'm one of those. I've always had challenges with going into deep trance and responding to suggestions. For over a decade, I was looking for a solution to get beyond that, to surpass my current limits of my mind and my emotions. Finally, almost accidentally, I found it, and the solution was in a most unlikely place. I was on Facebook, on my hypnosis page, just chatting with random people when I met someone who had a power that I'd never even heard of before. She could catalyze feelings and effects in me as if I were hypnotized, but without needing to use any words. No words, no visuals, and over distance. I'm going to call what she was doing psychic influence for the moment. Her psychic influence could give me overwhelming levels of pleasure with virtually no effort on her part. Just her intent. I didn't have to go into a trance. I didn't have to breathe a specific way or relax enough. I didn't have to try to respond to suggestions. In fact, her power was so strong that even if I tried to resist, the feelings happened anyway. I was so transfixed by this power that even though our relationship was relatively short, it left me fascinated, needing more. For the next several years, I was on the lookout for anyone who had a similar power so that I could experience the same thing again. Over that decade, I found a handful of people who could do what she did. With each of them, I explored this power at various levels of depth. But I still knew I was just scratching the surface, that the potential of such a gift was awe-inspiring. I knew this had to be a very powerful key. Most recently, I found several new people who had these abilities, including exploring with someone who's just beginning to find out about the depths of these powers within herself. As I have played and explored, I found out just how powerful this power can be. It seems that these powers, utilized correctly, have the ability to completely transform our perceptions, our reality even, and open up vistas of experience and happiness where everything else has failed. Imagine virtually any feeling on demand. These psychic powers can be used not only to create positive thoughts and feelings, but to erase and remove negative ones from our past. Once I discovered this, I began the process of exploring that more deeply. The possibilities for trauma healing and growth and development were astounding. Soon, an idea for a completely new method of transformation and healing became clear to me: psychic intervention. I've been exploring with a few intrepid volunteers how this might work, but I'm getting excited to dive more completely into accessing and exploring these powers moving forward. So if you suspect life could be radically better and you're willing to explore deep surrender that this kind of work entails, if you like to be on the leading edge and try new things, if you'd like to explore the limits of your pleasure, find out what they really are, and feel a connection that's probably unlike any you've ever experienced, then psychic intervention might be for you. And if you have or suspect you have psychic powers, you might be trained as a psychic interventionist. This is all just beginning right now. If you'd like to talk about this possibility, use the email in the description or in my profile, and I'll send you more information. I look forward to diving in deeper. Speak soon.